everyone, it's Hunter and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, it's so nice to meet you. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about my most anticipated reads of 2023. Most of these books come out in the spring. I think the latest one that comes out is in June as of right now. That's because we don't have the fall release dates for a lot of books yet. So far, these are my top 11 books that I'm anticipating coming out in 2023 that I can't wait to read. I'm really glad that a lot of these are coming out pretty early in the year because I am having a baby in April and I don't know how much time I'm gonna have to read. So since these are coming out like in the beginning of the year, I can put them on my list and just get to them when I get to them. So with that being said, before we get started, I would love it if you guys would subscribe to my channel down below if you haven't already and give this video a big thumbs up. I make book videos and I also do some vlogs, lifestyle stuff here and there. I talk about my baby. I haven't really done much talking about my baby. I'm trying to get through my 2022, 2023 like upcoming stuff, but for now I'm gonna talk about baby stuff more coming up just because that's gonna be a huge part of my life. But with that being said, let's just go ahead and get started. Most of the books on this list are romance books and I do have a few thrillers on here, but most of them are romance simply because I read thriller books kind of as they come out. I don't really know about them until I see them and then I'm like, wow, that looks interesting, so I read it. So I don't really have a lot of thriller books on here, although I do really love thriller. In fact, I think I prefer thriller over romance, but for now, romance is kind of what takes precedence because that's what is most anticipated for me right now. So, okay, so the first book on this list that I'm so excited to read is called Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams, and this is book number 2 in the Rome, Kentucky series. She has another book that came out in September called When in Rome, and this one is the second book in the series. It is about the owner of a local flower shop. She makes a questionable agreement with a tattooed bad boy. A delightful friends to lovers romance begins to bloom. Annie Walker is on a quest to find her perfect match, someone who nicely complements her happy, quiet life running her flower shop in Rome, Kentucky. Unfortunately, she worries her goal might be too far out of reach, and she overhears her date saying she is so unbelievable boring. Is it too late to become flirtatious and fun like the leading ladies in her favorite romance movies? Maybe she only needs a little practice, and Annie has the perfect person in mind to become her tutor, Will Griffin. Will, the flirtatious, tattooed, and absolutely gorgeous bodyguard, is temporarily back in Rome providing security for Amelia Rose as excitement grows for her upcoming marriage to Noah Walker. She has one personal objective during his time in town: stay away from Annie Walker. But no sooner than he gets settled, Will soon finds himself not only breaking his role but tasked with far more than simply providing security. Will wants no part in changing the sweet and lovely Annie, but he can't bring himself to say no to her request, so she officially agrees to teach her how to be the next leading lady of Rome, Kentucky. We all know what happens, but I'm still super excited. I thought that When in Rome was Sarah Adams' best yet. Was my favorite book of her so far, and I think I've read all of her like contemporary romance novels. So they are what we would call closed door, clean romance novels. There are no spicy scenes. Everything is considered like closed door. If it goes any further than like kissing, everything happens like behind closed doors. It's just implied, which is my favorite kind of romance just because I prefer clean romance. So that one I'm super excited about. It comes out on May 2nd. So I'm super excited to read that. I will be very newly postpartum, if not still pregnant at that time. I'm due on April 23rd, so depending on when my baby decides to come, we'll see. So that's fun. Next is The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth, and this comes out on April 4th, 2023. This is actually a book that I have already read, but I love Sally Hepworth. I read this through NetGalley as an advanced reader's copy, and I love her books. I don't know why. This is a thriller, a domestic thriller. Let me pull up the description real quick. When I read this, I gave it 5 stars. Like I said, I'm super excited for this to come out just because I want everybody to read it if they like thrillers. She has written a couple of other thrillers, and I'm actually currently reading one of her thrillers right now. So I'm just overall a big fan of her books. It says that it is a thrilling, addictive novel about marriage, betrayal, and secrets that push us to the edge. There's a cottage on a cliff, Gabe and Pippa's dream home in a sleepy coastal town, but their perfect house hides something sinister. The tall cliffs have become a popular spot for people to end their lives. Night after night, Gabe comes to the rescue, literally talking them off the ledge, until he doesn't. When Pippa discovers Gabe knew the victim, the question spiraled. Did the victim jump? Was pushed? And would Gabe, the love of Pippa's life, her soulmate, lie? As the perfect facade of their marriage begins to crack, the deepest and darkest secrets begin to unravel. So I really loved that book, and I hope that everyone else loves it as much as I did because I thought it was really good. The next book that is highly anticipated for me is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. This comes out on May 2nd, 2023, and I am so excited to read it. I really loved her first book, What even is her first book called? Why can I not remember what it's called? Every Summer After. I really loved Every Summer After. I thought it was really good. It made it in my top 10 books of 2022. So I'm excited to read this one. The main little blurb, I guess I'm just gonna stick to the main blurbs just because otherwise this video will be so long. A random connection sends two strangers on a day-long adventure where they make a promise one keeps and the other breaks with life-changing effects in this breathtaking new novel from the New York Times and #1 Globe and Mail bestselling author of Every Summer After. The main characters are named Fern, and I'm super excited to read that. I know it's gonna be a good one, so I'm just super excited to get my hands on it. Also, the cover art is stunning. The next book that's actually really highly anticipated for me is called The True Love Experiment by Christina Lauren. This comes out on May 16th, 2023, and this one I'm a little bit like hesitant about simply because the title of it reminds me of The Soulmate Equation, written also by them, but then also The American Roommate Experiment, so I'm not sure. It just gives me vibes of other books, so we'll see. Just gonna give you guys the little blurb. Sparks fly when a romance novelist and a documentary filmmaker join forces to craft the perfect Hollywood love story and take both of their careers to the next level, but only if they can keep the chemistry between them from taking the whole thing off script. That actually sounds really good. I don't know why I said that it makes me think of two other books, but for some reason, maybe it's just the title. I don't know. Also, the cover is not like the best in my opinion. I think it could be better. IDK. Anyway, we'll just move on to the next book. The next one I'm super excited about is by Megan Miranda. It's called The Only Survivors, and it comes out on April 11th. And I'm excited because Megan Miranda is one of my favorite thriller authors. It says it's a thrilling mystery about a group of former classmates who reunite to mark the 10th anniversary of a tragic accident, only to have one of the survivors disappear, casting fear and suspicion on the original tragedy. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Megan Miranda, so I'm excited to read this one. And I have a couple of her books on my shelf, and I really want to grab this one and read it. Super excited. So there's that. Super excited. This next one I know is not just me that's highly anticipating this book. I know everyone is. It is A Happy Place by Emily Henry. We all love Emily Henry. This one comes out on April 25th, 2023. Like I said, my due date is April 23rd, so we'll see how this goes. I read Book Lovers the day it came out and absolutely loved it. I thought it was so cute, and I've loved every one of her books. So I'm excited to get my hands on this one, even if it does take me a little bit longer to read it. But I'm very excited, and here's the little blurb. A couple who broke up months ago make a pact to pretend to still be together for their annual week-long vacation with their best friends in this glittering and wise new novel. I'm so excited. I don't know. I just think that, I don't know. I'm so excited. The cover is so pretty. I am really annoyed right now that when you pre-order it, it is a hardback. Why would she do that when all of her other books are paperback? It's probably her publisher's decision, but still really annoying, and it's actually why I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I'm hoping that it will be available for pre-order in paperback, and if not, then I will wait until it is available in paperback to read it, because I simply will not read it as a hardback. I have plenty of hardback books that I have thrifted, and the only reason I would ever own a hardback copy is if I thrifted it, got it from a little free library, or I've already read the book and I need to have a copy of it, but I absolutely refuse it if it's hardback. I just have the worst time reading hardback books, so enough about that, I guess. This next one is, again, these are all, I'm really excited about all of these, and this one actually comes out so soon. It comes out on January 26th, and that's a weird publication date. That's a Thursday. Is that a Thursday? That's a Thursday. That's so weird. Books don't get published on Thursdays, they get published on Tuesdays. Anyway, which means by the time this video goes live, it'll either be out tomorrow or next week, depending on when I decide to upload this, but whatever. It's called Josh and Gemma the Second Time Around by Sarah Reddy, and I read the first book in this series. I had no idea this was going to become a series, but the first book is called Josh and Gemma Make a Baby, and it's about IVF and miscarriage and trying to conceive. We have a single woman. The first book, I'll give you a little synopsis. She's a single woman. She decides she wants to be a mom. She does not really want to use an anonymous sperm donor, so she talks to her friend from childhood and is like, hey, I think that you would be a great donor for me because I want to know the donor. And so she goes with this guy, Josh, to the fertility clinic, and they try to have a baby, and then obviously we know what happens. They're just friends slash co-parents in the first book, and obviously we know that they get together because that's what happens in romance novels. But I am really excited about this one because it shows kind of what happens after happily ever after. It says everything's about to change. Gemma Jacobs has life figured out. She's upbeat, positive to a fault, the master of her own destiny. She has a wonderful career in social media marketing, lives in a trendy apartment with her fiance Josh Lewenthal, and is pregnant with their much loved baby. Her life is wonderful, absolutely perfect, except what comes after the happily ever after. Josh Lewenthal is laid back, fun loving, and always finds the humor in life. He writes a wildly successful webcomic series and can't wait to marry Gemma, the woman of his dreams. His life is amazing, terrific, except what happens when everything changes. So I think this is going to be the reason I liked the first book so much is because it touches on a very taboo subject, things that aren't typically written about, especially not in romance novels. Like a lot of times in romance novels, you have couples who get pregnant by accident, but I feel like there are rarely intentional pregnancies unless they are already married. Not already married, I mean like when they already have kids. So like when their kids are older, so they're like single parents or whatever. I feel like that's typically the situation when there are kids involved in romance novels. So I really appreciated that real take on the heartbreak of trying to conceive and the struggle of things that, you know, may require trigger warnings, of course, because that is a very sensitive topic, but I think it's important to see that kind of thing in the media because it's not talked about, but it's also something that 25% of women experience. 1 in 4 women experiences loss, miscarriage, and lots of couples struggle to conceive. So I feel like I really enjoyed the real take on that. It's obviously not for everyone, but I really enjoyed it. So I think just kind of getting into the real world, this book is going to be like their life after Happily Ever After, which I think is really cool. So I talked about that way too long. Okay, the next book on this list is called Summer Reading by Jen McKinley, and this book comes out on May 16th, and I read a book by her over the summer, I think, and I thought it was really cute, so I'm kind of really excited about this one. It's a woman who would rather do anything than read meets a swoon-worthy bookworm. Let's see, it says Martha's vineyard in a family tiny cottage, trying to be a chef, chaperoning her half-brother. It looks very interesting. Summer reading. I really love books about readers and authors and publishing because I'm a big reader, so I think that books like that are really fun. I think it's why I really loved Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I think it's why I really loved Maybe in the Margins by Melissa Ferguson. I just really love books that take place in the reading industry or about people who are big readers. I think that's really fun because obviously people who are big readers like to read books. So books about people that are like them is really fun. So I'm excited to read that. The next book that's highly anticipated for me is a thriller, and it's called You Shouldn't Have Come Here by Geneva Rose. She's the author of The Perfect Marriage and One of Us is Dead, and I personally really liked both of those books. The Perfect Marriage I had some issues with it, but overall I thought it was a decent book, and I know lots of people love it. It's very popular right now. I actually saw it at Target recently on like a book talk section, so I thought that was cool. I read it on Kindle Unlimited last year, but I'm excited to read this one because I really, like I said, I love thrillers, and her books are very quick, fast-paced, easy to read as well. This one comes out on April 25th. So it's about Grace Evans, who is an overworked New Yorker looking for an escape from her busy life. She books an Airbnb in the middle of Wyoming. When she arrives, she's pleasantly surprised to find that the owner is a handsome man by the name of Calvin Wells. There are things Grace discovers that she's not too pleased about: a lack of cell service, a missing woman, and feeling that something isn't right with the town. You Shouldn't Have Come Here. It's a thrill ride, a cautionary tale of what can go wrong when you open up your house and your heart to a total stranger. Yeah, that sounds right up my alley. I love it. That sounds really good. Yeah, I'm excited. So next is called Will They or Won't They by Ava Wilder, and I'm pulling it up. I think this is part of a series, but I'm not positive. It comes out on June 27th, 2023. This is by the author of How to Fake It in Hollywood, which was one of my favorite books of 2022. On screen, they're in love. Off screen, they can't stand each other. Two co-stars with a complex history reunite to film the final season of a beloved paranormal drama in this tension-filled Will They, Won't They romance from the author of How to Fake It in Hollywood. So I think this is a second, like a series, like I think it's a second book in a series, so it's not the same characters, but it follows characters from the first book. But because I really loved How to Fake It in Hollywood, I think I'll really love this one as well. Excited to see what other issues are, the drama. It probably won't be like the spiciest book I've ever read, but it'll probably have a little bit of spice, just in case that's something that you're interested in knowing. None of the other books on here would have like any real spice in them, except maybe The True Love Experiment, but I forgot to tell you that there might be a tiny bit of spice, but probably not that much. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the last book, let me pull it up. I Love It When You Lie by Kristen Bird, and this comes out on March 14th of this year. And I had never heard anything about this book, but the cover absolutely intrigued me, so I had to add it to this list. But it is the Williams women don't just keep secrets, they bury them. Just days before her 80th birthday, Pearl Williams has the gall to up and die on everyone. And listen, I'm taking a break from that for a second. Has the gall to just up and die on everyone. That sounds like a humorous thriller. I'm literally so excited. Now her granddaughters must make plans for a proper send-off, all while their own lives unravel a little more each day. Pastor's wife makes a serious decision that could scatter his flock. Then there's June, who could do anything to have a baby of her own, even if her husband won't. Clementine, the youngest, is entangled in an affair with her professor, desperate to ignore who he really is. Finally, there's Stephanie, the sister-in-law, an outsider who knows all the family dirt, but Gran won't be the only one they'll put in the grave this this weekend because now someone has gone missing in the dark Appalachian woods, and if Gran has taught them anything, it's how to get rid of a good-for-nothing man. Listen, that description shows me that it's gonna be a funny thriller, and that is like the absolute best combination in my opinion. So I'm so excited to read all of the books on this list. That was all 11. Of course there will be more books throughout the year that come out that I will have no idea about, but those are the ones that come out the first half of the year that I'm excited about, and more books will obviously be released in the fall. We'll get more dates soon, but for now, those are all of the books on my list that I am so excited to read in 2023. My goal for the year is 100 books. So we'll see if I get there, given the baby situation. But that's all I have for today's video. So if you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to my channel down below. If you guys have any books that you're highly anticipating in 2023, please let me know down below so that I can look them up. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!